So I was watching Andor a few days ago, and yeah, I'm kind of late to the party because basically I only realized that it came out after everybody was talking about it, after season 2 was concluded. And I just kind of forgot that, oh my god, season 2 was coming out. I was waiting for season 2 a long time, and then it came out, saw it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was one of the best Star Wars things that have come out in a very long time. But do you know who doesn't agrees with that take? Star Wars Theory. And he's getting shit on by a lot of people. Now, why is he getting all the backlash? Well, he's getting all the backlash because his arguments basically is that it's not very Star Wars enough. Because basically, it's very grounded for him. And it has a lot of talking. Which, by the way, doesn't make sense. I mean, don't let this guy watch Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or Sopranos because his mind is gonna melt. He basically says that it's very slow paced, which it isn't. I mean, yeah, one or two episodes in season 1 were kind of slow paced, but I feel like the second season was way well more paced. Like it was much more faster too. Like every 3 episodes later, there's a year time skip, and now most of the payoffs start to happen in like the episode 8. Like usually for those who haven't seen Andor, or at least haven't seen Andor season 2, you would know that it has 3 episode arcs, and every second, like basically every third episode, most of the major stuff would happen. So the first 2 episodes would be the build up, and then third would be the payoff. But season 2 kind of breaks that. Like by the time you get to like episode, I think 7 or 8, by the time you get to episode 7 or 8, like it basically the payoffs start to happen in the second episode of like an arc, for example. So for example, there's an episode arc from like episode 7 to 8 or 9 to 12, 10 to 12, and basically the payoff would start to happen sometimes even from the beginning. Like most of the big shit starts to happen in like the second episode of an arc. So every arc has 3 episodes, and instead of the major payoff and chaos that happens in the third episode, it starts to happen in the second episode of an arc. So for example, the whole Gorman arc, right? Like that happens between 7, 8, 9, I believe. So in 7, 8, 9, in episode 8 already, like shit starts to go down. So it's not really like that, you know? And then he comes off, and it's just much more faster paced. I don't know where he's coming from. Basically, he says that it's very slow paced, and when someone tries to tell him that he's just TikTok brained and he has a very small attention span of a goldfish, he just says, "Bro, I've seen the original trilogy. Of course, I know what slow paced is." Like, you saying that already tells me that you are TikTok brained. Brother, the original trilogy is not slow paced. Like, if that's your argument, if you would have said something like the Blade Runner, which by the way I think is way more slow paced than the Andor show, even though Blade Runner is like only 2 hours long and it's a movie, I still feel like it has a lot of gaps between them. I like Blade Runner 2049, but still, I agree that some people might think that it's just very slow paced, right? But he comes out with this argument that, dude, I've seen the original trilogy and it's very slow paced, so don't talk to me about, having a small attention span. I have a huge attention span. Which, by the way, just breaks down his entire argument. You buffoon, the original trilogy is not slow paced. I saw it recently. Like, I am from a newer generation, right? So I don't have the nostalgia glasses. I'm a kid that was born in like the 21st century. So me seeing Star Wars like 4 years ago, like discovering Star Wars like 4 or 5 years ago, I can confidently tell you that the original trilogy is not a slow paced film. It's just fairly paced. I'm not saying it's like fast paced or anything. But if you're gonna ask me that, hey, name some slow paced films, the original trilogy is not gonna come to my mind. So already that argument is a bunch of baloney. And then he just says that there's a weird grape scene in Andor, which there isn't. He always tries to frame it as if they showed the grape scene, which is the totally opposite thing that happens. The Imperial Guard, like the Imperial officer comes in, tries to assault her, but she kills him. She just bangs his head with a wrench, and he's dead. He's gone. So I don't know where that's coming from. He just kind of makes that argument. He always frames it in such a weird way that yeah, that like it did happen. And he says that he wants it to be implied instead of being shown. Like what? So you want her to be great? Like what is that logic? I think it would be way more darker if it was just implied, you know? Like if you just implied that she was great, like that is much more darker and much more bad ending besides, her actually fighting back and winning. I feel like that's much more lighter toned in that sense. But he also says that this was a very bad way. Like we already know that the Empire is bad, so that scene was unnecessary. Which is again just baloney. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? He says this famous line that the Empire would not condone this. And I have an evidence, like, sort of, you can say it's kind of like an exhibit A that I would like to present to the court of order.
My argument in my tweet was like, I don't think that if Vader saw some shit like that happening, I don't think he would leave it unchecked. He's still Anakin at the end of the day.
Anakin's gone. I am what remains.
And Anakin wouldn't stand for that shit. I just don't think that that's something that the Empire would be cool with.
Yeah, so I don't think I need to explain all that. But yeah, that's why Star Wars Theory doesn't like Andor. And then he wonders why he's getting criticized for it, for his opinions. Well, because it's a stupid opinion and you put it on the internet, of course you're gonna be criticized by people. When you're going to go after something that's widely regarded by people, you have to have some good arguments. As a critic, you need to see the thing and be like, okay, if I'm going to criticize this, I need to have some really good arguments. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. Saying stuff like, oh, it's too slow paced isn't just a strong argument. And it's not that slow paced. I can understand something like Hannibal show or like, Breaking Bad even. Like, it's not even that slow paced compared to Hannibal. But hey, I can understand that people might not like these things because it's slow paced and it's not everybody's taste. So I could understand that. But Andor is not that slow paced. It's just a different change from what you would normally see in Star Wars. And I just like to think that he sees nothing but Star Wars. Because, like, come on, you're telling me that this show has a lot of talking, then shows like Sopranos and all these other shows should not exist because they have a lot of talking too. It's a drama, right? Like, it's a character drama. It's gonna have a lot of talking. Like, read a fucking book, maybe. And it's also very weird that he just doesn't want to cover it because of these stupid reasons. And like, dude, you're Star Wars Theory. You have the name Star Wars in your channel. Like, aren't you supposed to cover, like, everything? Isn't this, like, your job? Like, this is a 3 million subscriber channel, Like, just, dude, like, just cover it for the sake of it. He covered The Acolyte. That was the worst show I've ever seen. Like, it doesn't matter how much you hate Andor or don't like Andor. I think we can all collectively, as a human species, can agree that Acolyte was just not good. But this guy covered it. Shit, dude, even Critical Drinker was able to praise Andor. When the Critical Drinker is a better critic than you, that really speaks volumes. Like, that looks bad. You really need to see where you went wrong in life. But yeah, this kind of made me cringe. Anyways, don't listen to this buffoon. Star Wars, like, Andor season 2 is just peak. Anyways, that's pretty much about it. Hey, future Flint's here. Turns out he's gonna watch Andor. He's probably not gonna like it because there's no Obi-Wan and Anakin making out on the screen, and not many lightsabers. But hey, let's see what he thinks. Am I right?